You ever meet someone, find out their age, and instantly think, there's no way, you must have a portrait aging in the attic? Yeah. If you look younger than your age, it's rarely just good genes. It's good choices, and not always the glamorous kind. First, you've been protecting your peace. See, peace is like sunscreen for the soul. Some folks are out here marinating in stress, wondering why they feel 40 at 25. But you learn the power of no, and the even stronger power of not my problem. Second, you've mastered the art of letting go. Grudges? Heavy. Regret? Heavier. You can't look light if you're carrying that much baggage. You've set it down, smiled, and walked on. Third, you know how to laugh at yourself. Ever noticed serious people look older? That's because frowning is basically resistance training for wrinkles. But when you trip in public and laugh instead of dying inside, congratulations, you just ironed out a forehead line. Fourth, you stay curious. Cynicism might sound smart, but it makes your soul creak like an old door. Curiosity keeps the mind moving, and when the mind moves, the face glows. Fifth, you treat rest as a right, not a reward. Somewhere along the way, we started acting like sleep is optional. It's not. Sleep is your body's daily refresh button. Ignore it long enough, and no cucumber slice can save you. And sixth, you invest in people, not just products. The right company can lift your spirit higher than any collagen booster. Joy shows. Love shows. Connection shows. So if you look younger than your age, maybe it's not just what's in your bathroom cabinet. It's what's in your heart, your mind, and your circle. And that, my friends, is something no one can buy, but everyone can choose. You've been protecting your peace, not guarding it with swords and shields, but with choices. With that quiet, steady no to drama that used to be your polite maybe. At some point you realized that stress isn't a sign you're working hard. It's a sign you're burning out. And instead of wearing burnout like a badge of honor, you decided it wasn't a competition worth winning. You've learned the power of walking away from conversations that only exist to stir the pot. The wisdom of letting certain phone calls go to voicemail, and the grace of declining an invitation without a 5-paragraph excuse, because your peace matters more than anyone's opinion about your absence. See, the world is full of people who thrive on chaos. They drink it like coffee in the morning, refill it all afternoon, and then wonder why they can't sleep at night. But you've seen enough to know that constant noise doesn't mean progress. It just means you can't hear your own thoughts. You've built little boundaries, not walls to keep people out, but gates you can open or close depending on who's knocking. You're not trying to live in isolation. You're just making sure the company you keep doesn't cost you your calm. And you've stopped confusing urgency with importance. Not everything that comes your way needs to be answered immediately. Not every fire is yours to put out. You've learned the difference between my responsibility and their drama, and decided not to rent out space in your mind to other people's storms. The moment you realize that some folks actually get bored when things are going well, that's when you understood protecting your peace is an active daily choice. It's not glamorous. There's no applause for saying no to gossip or refusing to engage in that online argument. No one's handing out trophies for skipping that third social event this week just because you'd rather sit on your porch with a book. But here's the thing, peace ages well. Peace shows up in your posture, in the way your shoulders drop instead of hunch, in the way your eyes soften instead of harden. Protecting your peace doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means you've stopped adding extra chaos to it. You've accepted that people will misunderstand you, and that's okay. You've stopped explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you anyway. And in doing so, you've gained something priceless: mental space. That space allows you to notice the little things, like the way the sunlight spills into your kitchen in the morning, or the sound of laughter from another room. These moments, small as they are where life hides its joy. And the funny thing is, when you live like this, it shows on your face. There's a lightness to someone who isn't constantly bracing for the next fight. There's a softness in their expression that no amount of expensive moisturizer can fake. People will tell you you're lucky to look younger than your age, but luck has very little to do with it. You've simply decided not to live with a clenched jaw and a tired heart. So yes, you've been protecting your peace, and that protection has become a quiet kind of magic. One that doesn't just keep the wrinkles at bay, but keeps your spirit from shrinking. The years will still come. You can't stop the calendar. But when they find you, they'll find you smiling, relaxed, and entirely unbothered, because you didn't just grow older, you grew lighter. And that's the kind of youth you don't lose. You know the art of letting go. And no, it's not because you're a saint or because nothing ever bothers you. It's because you've learned, sometimes the hard way, that holding on to every hurt, every offense, and every unfair moment is like trying to carry a backpack full of bricks while running a marathon. It slows you down, it wears you out, and it shows up on your face long before the finish line. The grudges are sneaky. At first they feel like power. I'll remember what you did. I'll keep it right here. I won't let you off the hook. It feels like a form of justice. But what it really is a form of self-punishment. Because while you're replaying that moment over and over, the other person is living rent-free in your mind and not paying a single bill. Meanwhile, the stress tightens your jaw, tenses your shoulders, and etches little lines into your forehead. Holding grudges ages you faster than the sun, and it doesn't even give you a tan to show for it. Letting go doesn't mean what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you're pretending it didn't hurt. It means you've decided the hurt is not going to own the rest of your life. You've realized that forgiveness isn't a gift you give someone else. It's a gift you give yourself. It's a way of saying, I'm not going to keep bleeding over a wound I've already survived. The art of letting go also means choosing your emotional investments wisely. You no longer spend hours drafting imaginary arguments in your head. You no longer waste whole afternoons crafting the perfect comeback for a conversation that ended 2 years ago. You no longer allow someone's single moment of bad behavior to become a permanent shadow over your joy. Instead, you step back, you take a deep breath, and you remember that life is bigger than that moment. And here's the thing, letting go doesn't always happen instantly. Sometimes it's a slow release, like unclenching a fist you didn't realize was tight. Sometimes you let go over and over until one day you wake up and realize you haven't thought about it in weeks. And when that day comes, it's not dramatic. There's no big announcement, just a quiet, peaceful sense of freedom that makes the air feel lighter. When you live this way, people notice, not because you make a big show of being the bigger person, but because there's something different about your presence. Your eyes don't dart toward the past. Your smile doesn't have an asterisk. You move through conversations without scanning for landmines. You are not weighed down by invisible chains. And you know what happens when you keep living like that? Your body responds. Your face softens, your skin relaxes, you're not constantly bracing for emotional impact. That peace you've created becomes visible. People might think it's skincare or genetics, but really it's the absence of that constant low-grade tension grudges create. The art of letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing that some battles are not worth the scars. It's realizing that revenge won't make you feel whole, but release just might. It's understanding that you don't have to win every fight to win at life. So you keep letting go, sometimes for your sanity, sometimes for your health, always for your future. And in doing so, you've discovered something no anti-aging cream will ever offer. The timeless look of someone who refuses to carry yesterday into tomorrow. And that's why you don't just look younger, you feel younger. And that, my friend, is real beauty. You're not afraid to laugh at yourself. You don't take life or yourself so seriously that every little slip up feels like a crisis. You've discovered that one of the fastest ways to look and feel younger is to simply loosen your grip on perfection. You know that laughter is the cheapest anti-aging cream, and the best part is it comes with unlimited refills. See, a lot of people treat embarrassment like it's fatal. They trip on the sidewalk, say the wrong word in a meeting, spill coffee on themselves, and suddenly they want to disappear into the earth's crust. But you trip, you laugh, you wave to the imaginary cameras, and you keep walking. You've realized that other people aren't spending nearly as much time thinking about your mistakes as you think they are. And if they are, that's their problem, not yours. Laughter is powerful because it changes the way your body responds to the world. When you laugh, your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens, your face relaxes. It's like hitting a little reset button on your stress. And unlike expensive beauty treatments, laughter doesn't require an appointment, a credit card, or a 3-step aftercare routine. You can do it anywhere, anytime, even at your own expense. And you've learned the magic of turning awkward moments into funny stories. Instead of replaying a blunder and cringing for the next decade, you've started collecting these moments like souvenirs. Remember that time I called the waiter mom? Remember when I waved back at someone who wasn't waving at me? These stories become the glue in friendships, the spark in conversations, and the reason people want to be around you, because you make others feel safe in their own imperfections. Laughter at yourself also signals confidence. It says, I know I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with that. People who can't laugh at themselves tend to be the ones who are terrified of being exposed. But when you're already comfortable in your own skin, there's nothing to expose. You've already embraced it. You've already owned it. And that kind of self-assurance, that's magnetic. And here's something you've probably noticed. When you laugh at yourself, others laugh with you, not at you. The moment you remove the tension from a situation, you remove its power to embarrass you. You've stopped treating mistakes like identity statements. You know, a bad day doesn't mean you're a bad person, and a clumsy moment doesn't mean you're a disaster. It just means you're human, and humans are funny. The physical benefits aren't a myth either. Laughter releases endorphins, your brain's own feel-good chemicals. It improves circulation, relaxes muscles, and even boosts your immune system. In other words, it's doing more for you than that overpriced serum in the bathroom cabinet. And the more you laugh, the more those little worry lines stay away, replaced instead with smile lines, the only wrinkles worth having. You've also figured out that laughter is contagious. When you're quick to poke fun at yourself, you give permission for others to drop their guard too. Suddenly the room feels lighter, conversations flow more easily, everyone feels younger, not just you. And that joy you're creating in others, it boomerangs right back to you, adding another layer of that youthful glow people can't quite explain. So yes, you're not afraid to laugh at yourself. You've learned that dignity doesn't come from always being flawless. It comes from being real. You've seen how much better life feels when you stop aiming for a polished highlight reel and start enjoying the bloopers. And maybe that's why you seem to have found the fountain of youth. Not because you've avoided mistakes, but because you've turned them into punchlines. And in the end, a heart that can laugh easily will always beat a face that never cracks a smile. And that, more than anything, keeps you looking and feeling ageless. You choose curiosity over cynicism. You've learned that the way you look at the world shapes the way the world looks back at you. Some people reach a certain age and decide they've seen enough, learned enough, and nothing can surprise them anymore. They wear that cynicism like armor, but the problem is it's heavy. It pulls at their spirit, drags down their posture, and eventually it even settles into their fate. But you keep asking questions. You keep wondering why and how and what if. And that simple choice, curiosity over cynicism, is one of the most underrated beauty secrets there is. Curiosity keeps you mentally young. When you stay interested in life, life stays interesting. You notice details others rush past. You find delight in little discoveries, whether it's learning a new recipe, exploring a new street in your own city, or finding out that the song you've loved for years has a deeper meaning you never realized. This openness keeps your brain flexible. And a flexible mind often comes with a relaxed, open expression, the kind people describe as youthful, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. Cynicism, on the other hand, is like a slow leak in your spirit. It starts small, a few sarcastic comments here, a little eye-rolling there, but before long, it turns into a default setting. Nothing impresses you. Nothing excites you. Nothing feels new. And if life is nothing but a repeat, of course it feels heavier. That heaviness shows. It settles in the eyes first, dulling their light, then in the mouth, turning smiles into tight-lipped smirks. You've seen it happen to others, and you've decided you don't want that. Choosing curiosity doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you leave the door open for possibility. It means when someone tells you an idea that sounds wild, you don't shut it down with, "That'll never work." You lean in and ask, "Tell me more." It means when life throws you a problem, you don't just complain about it. You ask, "What can I learn here?" That shift in attitude changes the whole texture of your days. And here's the thing, curiosity naturally lifts your face. Not in a cosmetic surgery way, but in the way your eyes widen when you're fascinated, the way your eyebrows arch when you're intrigued, the way your whole expression softens when you're genuinely listening. People can tell when you're interested in them. That interest makes them open up, which in turn makes your interactions richer, warmer, and more joyful. That joy shows. Being curious also keeps you moving forward. It pushes you to try new things, meet new people, and explore new places. Every time you do, you're giving your brain a little workout. And just like a body that stays active, a mind that stays active keeps its vitality. The sparkle in your eyes isn't something you can fake. It's the natural glow of someone who still finds the world worth exploring. Cynicism ages you because it closes doors. Curiosity keeps you young because it keeps them open. It keeps you humble enough to admit there's still so much you don't know. And that humility is refreshing in a world where everyone's pretending to have all the answers. You're not pretending, you're learning. So you keep asking questions, you keep finding wonder in unexpected places, you let yourself be surprised, delighted, and amazed, even by things that seem small. Because every time you choose curiosity over cynicism, you're not just keeping your mind young, you're keeping your spirit light. And a light spirit is the kind of beauty that not only lasts, but deepens with time. That's why when people see you, they don't just think you look younger than your age, they feel it. And that's a youth no calendar can take away. You treat rest as a right, not a reward. Somewhere along the way, people started treating sleep and downtime like luxuries you have to earn, little treats you get only after you've completely exhausted yourself. You don't live like that anymore. You've realized that rest isn't laziness, it's maintenance. Just like you charge your phone every night without apologizing for it, you've decided you deserve the same care. You've seen what happens to people who treat rest as optional. They run on fumes, chug coffee like it's medicine, and brag about how little sleep they get as if exhaustion is a badge of honor. But their eyes look tired, their patience wears thin, and their energy is a flickering light that's about to burn out. That's not living, that's surviving. You don't want to survive your life, you want to live it. So you've made peace with the idea that slowing down is not the same as falling behind. You've stopped buying into the myth that being busy equals being valuable. You know now that your body and mind do their best repair work when you're resting. Your heart rate slows, your muscles recover, your skin heals, your brain processes the day. That's not wasted time, that's investment time. And it's not just about sleep, it's about those moments in the day when you pause, sitting with your coffee without scrolling, taking a walk without rushing, closing your eyes for a few minutes just to breathe. These little acts of maintenance are how you keep yourself running smoothly. You've learned that waiting until you deserve rest is like waiting until your car completely breaks down before you put gas in it. By then it's too late. Rest for you is non-negotiable because you understand the cost of neglecting it. When you're tired, everything feels heavier, problems feel bigger, tempers are shorter, your body doesn't recover as quickly, and your mind doesn't think as clearly. That shows on your face too. Fatigue leaves its fingerprints in the form of dark circles, dull skin, and a tense jaw. But when you rest, your body thanks you. Your skin looks better, your expression softens, your eyes have that quiet brightness that can't be faked. You also know that rest is more than physical, it's emotional. You give yourself permission to step away from people or situations that drain you. You allow yourself mental stillness without feeling guilty about not doing something every second. You've learned that a rested mind makes better decisions, has better conversations, and sees beauty more clearly. And the beauty of treating rest as a right is that it changes your whole relationship with time. You stop racing through your days like they're an obstacle course and start actually inhabiting them. You don't feel guilty for sleeping in when your body needs it. You don't apologize for taking a weekend to recharge instead of packing it full of commitments. You know you're not here to run yourself into the ground. You're here to last. So you rest. And you rest well. You let your body repair, your mind reset, and your spirit breathe. And that's why you move through life without that constant undercurrent of tension that wears so many people down. That's why your smile isn't weighed down by fatigue. That's why when people say you look younger than your age, they're not just talking about your skin. They're talking about the energy you carry. You've learned that the best way to stay young isn't to fight time. It's to stop wearing yourself out before your time. And that's what real maintenance looks like. You invest in people, not just products. You've figured out that while lotions, serums, and treatments can do a little for your skin, it's the people you surround yourself with who shape the way you feel and the way you look, far more than anything that comes in a bottle. Joy from good company beats any beauty serum. And you've chosen to spend your time with people who make your soul feel lighter. You've noticed how being around the right people changes you. They make you laugh until your cheeks hurt. They listen to you without judgment. They remind you of your worth when you forget. And in their company, you feel safe enough to relax, to let your guard down, to just be. That kind of emotional ease doesn't just feel good, it shows. Your body releases tension, your expression softens, and suddenly you look like you've just returned from a week at a spa, even if all you did was spend an evening talking on the couch. On the other hand, you've seen what happens when you keep the wrong company. Being around constant negativity, criticism, or drama feels like carrying an invisible weight. It drains your energy, makes you second guess yourself, and leaves you feeling more tired than you should. Over time, that heaviness etches itself into your face. The sparkle in your eyes dims, and your smile becomes something you have to force. You realized you didn't want to live like that, so you made changes, not necessarily cutting people off cold, but setting boundaries that protect your peace. Your investment in people is intentional. You seek out those who inspire you, challenge you kindly, and celebrate your wins without resentment. You give your energy to relationships that feel mutual, where you pour into them and they pour into you. Because relationships that only drain without replenishing are like bad investments. They cost you more than they'll ever return. The funny thing is, people sometimes underestimate how much our social connections affect our physical appearance. But science backs it. Strong, positive relationships lower stress, boost immunity, and even lengthen lifespan. And that's before you factor in the emotional side. How much more alive you feel after a conversation that makes you laugh, or a shared experience that leaves you with a good memory to revisit on hard days. That aliveness is visible. It's a kind of glow no highlighter can match. You also understand that investing in people means being present. It's not enough to just have people around, you show up for them. You listen with your full attention instead of half listening while scrolling. You remember the little details they tell you and ask about them later. You show up when it matters, not because you're keeping score, but because love and loyalty are choices you make over and over. And when you give like that, it comes back to you in ways you don't always expect. These relationships become your safe harbor when life gets rough. They're the reason you can face stress without letting it stick to you. They're the source of so many of your laughs, your best memories, and your proudest moments. They're proof that while beauty products may work on the surface, people work on the soul, and when the soul is nourished, it shines through your face. So yes, you take care of your skin, maybe even treat yourself to the occasional new product, but your real beauty routine happens in conversations, in shared meals, in spontaneous adventures, in quiet moments of connection. Because you know that youth isn't something you can apply, it's something you can live. And living it with the right people has been the best investment you've ever made. That's why when someone tells you you look younger than your age, you smile, because you know the real secret isn't in your bathroom cabinet, it's sitting across the table laughing with you. So when you put it all together, protecting your peace, letting go of grudges, laughing at yourself, choosing curiosity over cynicism, treating rest as a right, and investing in people, you start to see the bigger picture. Looking younger than your age isn't just about what you put on your skin, it's about how you live in it. It's the choices you make every day, the attitudes you carry, and the way you treat yourself and others. You've learned that youth isn't just a number. It's an energy, a lightness, and a way of showing up to life that time can't easily take away. And the best part? Every one of these habits is a choice you can make starting right now. Thank you.